We're going to start this thing off and we're just going to get right into the news. Your girl, Diana Jenkins, has announced that she is leaving the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after one season. Oh, yes, the news comes via people, don't you know? Shout out to our friends over at Queens of Bravo. You know, she did tell people exclusively, as many of you know, she and her husband are expecting their second child later this year. She says, "You also know due to many factors, this pregnancy is considered high risk and I am on doctor advised bed rest. To that end, I am not able to devote myself fully to filming the next season of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I would like to thank Bravo and Evolution for allowing me to focus on my pregnancy, for their support and understanding. I promise to keep you on, to keep sharing my fertility journey with you." Girl, let's look at this, okay? She says, "I would like to thank Bravo and Evolution for allowing me to focus on my pregnancy and for their support and understanding." Listen, I don't know this for certain because I can't say, but to me, it would seem as though, like, did they really want you back? Nobody expected you to be back. You got 5 minutes at the reunion this past season. I mean, it was just, let's just call a thing a thing. This was not a good fit. I think you, me, and the world knows it. And so I just had to come on here and let y'all know that first and foremost, because I just felt like, girl, come on now. We didn't expect you to be back. Not one single bit. You know what I mean? And, I wish you well on your journey, but it was time for you to go. You know what I'm saying? It was time. It wasn't you. It was maybe me. And you got to go so we can all just be. Okay. Meanwhile, let's also talk about Miss Kenya Moore. Okay. Oh, Lord have mercy. Kenya Moore is in the divorce that just will not end. Okay. She is in the divorce that will not end. She took to the Tamron Hall show. Of course, she is making the rounds because she is promoting her stint on the new show, Special Forces World's Toughest Test. Okay. And one of the big things that she revealed is the major holdup from her divorce from Marc Daly is that they didn't have a prenuptial agreement before tying the knot. She ended up telling TMZ that the divorce was not yet finalized because there was no prenup. So, yeah, unfortunately. Now, she does add that she's confident that it will all be resolved soon. But I mean, dang, allegedly, she's saying, that he's not asking for a lot or he's not asking for anything, but they just at a standstill. And I'm kind of like in my mind wondering if that's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise, it seemed to me like this thing would have been over, finito, finished, done, kaput, put to pasture and all that by now if he wasn't asking for something. But I don't know. I'm not a divorce attorney. I'm not any type of attorney. I'm just a fan looking at this situation from the perspective of, it shouldn't take you 3 years to get a divorce if you're not looking for nothing. And and to be honest with you, what did y'all get together? Kenya Moore owned her home. So what do they need? Is this to determine, visitation and stuff like that? I'm just trying to understand what the holdup with this situation is, because it really don't make no sense to me. But say la vie, let this be a lesson to you. If you got a coin out there in this world, if you were on these reality TV shows, you might want to get a prenup. Also, I don't know. It just seemed kind of sketch, the whole situation from the jump. You know what I'm saying? There was him, she talked on Tamron Hall about him not wanting to do the reality TV show and how really they did her show. And then 3 days later, the announcement came that they were divorcing. And I guess she says that what happened was they got back and they filmed that event together and things just got so bad. And at that point, he didn't want to film anyway. And so he ended up walking off and, just bouncing. And I guess at that point, she decided she couldn't take it no more. So anyway, more power to her. She says she's hoping to have a hot girl summer this summer. But dang, I mean, this divorce is taking about as long as a Sheba Sheree line. Moving right on along, we got some other things that we got to talk about real quick. And I just had to share this because, exciting stuff is happening in the world of entertainment. And I could not be happier about this next announcement. Now, Jasmine Brand has the exclusive that the Encore will be back for a second season featuring an all new cast. Now, we know that season 1 featured non-former girl group members, okay? And they had to try to create an album within 30 days. All right. Now, this show drew in over 2 million viewers in its premiere, which is really, really good in this day and age. Now, according to the Jasmine Brand, like I said, this will feature a new cast and may even see a few male singing legends appear on the show as well. They're working on securing some big names for the season, such as Tank and Erykah Badu. I'm trying to figure out how I would feel about Erykah Badu being on this show because I kind of feel like she's still, out there in these streets touring and performing and stuff like that. So would that make sense? I would definitely like it, to see Erykah Badu go off on somebody, in a scene or two because the Encore season 1 was chaotic AF. And I was honestly here for every single moment. I might low key have to go back and rewatch it just to get my fix in. You know what I'm saying? Who do you guys hope to see on the new season of the Encore? Y'all let me know in the chat down below. Do you want Tank, maybe a Cisco or something like that? I feel like Tank have been in several groups at this point, so maybe it would be cool to show him, in working within a group, and maybe we can see why maybe some of those groups maybe worked out and maybe some didn't. How about a Tyrese? No, he doing movies and things like that. Who else would we want to see that could possibly be up in this group or something like that? Y'all let me know in the chat down below. They got to be somebody that's going to give us some spice and some entertainment, because if they're not going to entertain me, I don't want to watch, okay? All right, so we got one final story for y'all. I know I told y'all it was a lot going on in this video, but we have got to talk about the news. Let's start spreading the news. We got the news that the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Season 4 cast is locked and loaded, confirmed by Bravo TV and NBC Universal. And here we are looking at your Season 4 cast that will be heading to Marrakesh. Now, this is a sweet deal for Phaedra and Eva because they are back again. Can you imagine? All you got to do is go and film for a week of your time and go to a fabulous location. Well, you're locked in with the people that you don't know and maybe don't like, but still, they know how to make some good TV. And from what we can see, Eva can really relate to just about anybody. Eva on Ultimate Girls Trip is much better than Eva on Housewives of Atlanta. Don't ask me why. Maybe it's because she, is able to just be and not be expecting while she's also filming. But yet again, Phaedra is back as well. And so that the network loves them some Phaedra, Brandi, and Eva because they brought them back again. They must love Vicki too, but I think Vicki just be looking for any type of way to be back on TV. I say that as just my own theory, okay? I'm not going to call it fact, but that's just the way I think, and I can't blame her. She's been on TV for so long. I don't know if she knows what life is like without it. Meanwhile, we got some new additions with us. We got Gretchen Rossi, who I have been calling for to come back on the Real Housewives of Orange County for years now, and this could be a very good way to see and test if fans are still interested in Gretchen Rossi, similar to how they did with Tamra Judge, and not Tamra Judge, Lord have mercy, we know they like Tamra Judge, but I'm saying Taylor Armstrong, and then they ended up bringing her onto the OC because that's where she lives now. So I think that this is a good way to test and see how audiences feel about Gretchen, because they had turned out of favor with her last few seasons on the Real Housewives of Orange County because her storyline seemed a bit manufactured, right? And so then we have Camille Meyer, who I say is one of the GOATs in terms of this Housewives game. You know what I'm saying? And if you are a fan of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, particularly seasons 1 and 2, you will know Camille for the power that she brings and the chaoticness that she brings. But having her and Brandi on the show at the same time is definitely bound to cause some fireworks. Now, you have rounding out the cast Caroline Manzo, who allegedly the network has been trying to get back on the Real Housewives of New Jersey for some time, but that money ain't right for what Caroline wants to do. And I don't know if she even fits in with this new crop of girls that's on the show at this point, because one of the great things that Caroline brought to her was that she had her family and her extended family, a la Jacqueline Larita, and at one point in time, Dina Manzo on the show as well, who was actually her sister, but they don't really get along right now, at least last we heard. So Carolyn should be very interesting because I would like to see how she relates to Vicki and some of the rest of the girls or whatever, because Caroline Manzo is a very tell it like it is, like no holds barred, pull no punches. Like, I mean, at a certain point in time, I thought Caroline would have been better on Mob Wives. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I digress. I only say that because I felt like she was just that type of that, she was just, like, I mean, our family is thick as thieves, all of that. But then we have rounding out the cast, oddly enough, Alex McCord, who, if you guys may recall, is one of the most awkward housewives I've ever seen on a reality television show ever. Now, perhaps Alex has grown since her time on The Real Housewives of New York when she could barely confront people. There was the scene where she came running down the steps when the group was in Morocco, and Luann called her out for wearing those Herman Munster shoes, which turned out to be Louis Vuitton, which Luann said even Louis Vuitton makes mistakes. So this should be very interesting because Alex has no connection with any of these ladies. I would have preferred if Alex was on here with like a Kelly Ben Simone, but I believe that they're trying to get Kelly for the Real Housewives New York Legacy show. But to me, I would have felt like, okay, either you get Caroline and Jacqueline because I felt like that was who we had heard, or maybe you get Caroline and Danielle Staub because we know what that can give. You know what I mean? So at throwing in Alex McCord, who actually now lives in Australia and has a completely different life at this point, is a very interestingly odd choice. But sometimes maybe having a wild card in there is exactly what the show needs, because Ultimate Girls Trip Season 2 was a bona fide, certified hit. Okay. No word on when we're going to get the premiere of the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Season 3, which took place in I forgot what them girls went. It had Portia and Giselle and Heather and Candace and Whitney on the show, along with Marisol and Alexia as well from Miami, which I need to catch up on. I'm assuming that's going to show up on NBC or Peacock after Miami ends its run. So we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. But this cast right here, I'm excited about, particularly if we get Eva, Phaedra, and Brandi back, along with Camille, who I've always stated should come back to Beverly Hills. This to me is very, very interesting, and I can't wait to see how it pans out. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I will catch you in the next video.